When school starts each morning, educators have an important question to decipher first. Not what's on the test, but who's in the seat. Chronic absenteeism is sweeping through classrooms nationwide, and it's a trend educators say can no longer be ignored. Before COVID, about 28% of schools had at least 1 in 5 students missing too much school. After the pandemic, that number jumped, with 2 out of 3 schools seeing chronic absenteeism. That's according to federal data from the U.S. Department of Education. Hetty Chang leads Attendance Works, a nonprofit tracking these trends.
Prior to the pandemic, affected about 8 million kids, about 16% of the population. It nearly doubled during the pandemic from 16 to 30% of all kids. And it has started to slowly improve, but only by a couple percentage points really each year. We're probably at about a quarter of all kids still chronically absent at this point across the country.
Numbers are slightly decreasing, but the overall impact on student success is still staggering. She says when kids miss school, it doesn't just affect test scores, it affects everything from early literacy to graduation rates.
I just think that every single community should both build a culture of attendance. How do they talk about the value of showing up to school? How do they build those relationships so kids and families feel connected to school? And then how do they work with kids and families to understand what are those barriers and address them and bring in the community partners to address those barriers?
Chronically absent is defined by kids who miss 10% or more of school. Once those absences stack up, many teachers struggle to keep classrooms on track.
It makes it harder for teachers to teach, set classroom norms, kids complete their projects. And there's also some challenges with its creating the wrong model. Like if you're in a classroom where there are a lot of chronically absent kids in the beginning of the school year, you're more likely to become chronically absent yourself at the end of the school year.
The barriers aren't just inside the school building. Many students face outside challenges, from unstable housing and transportation issues to healthcare gaps and family stress. Poverty, Chang says, remains a major factor.
Those communities have historically had higher levels of chronic absence, and during the pandemic, things got worse because they were more likely even to have deaths in their family and illness, which then even further compromised the economic security of those communities.
At the same time, Chang says states and communities across the nation saw similar levels of chronic absenteeism, leading to states like Connecticut to try new approaches. In one case, schools sent staff into neighborhoods over the summer, not to lecture families, but to build trust. They asked about summer programs, teachers, and plans for the fall, and offered support. Attendance improved 15% in those districts. Across the country, 22 states now encourage schools to take a prevention-first approach, making data public, reaching out to families early, and building systems that support kids long before they fall behind. For State Arrow News, I'm Kaylee Carey. Find the full story right now on SAN.com or by downloading the State Arrow News mobile app.